It's good to be back again, Noel. It's been a little while, but yeah, look, we just had the good news that our joint venture partner down at on our Southwest project in Chalice Mining started their maiden drilling program. So, you know, following up the priority conductors, they hit about 11 bedrock anomalies from their ground EM survey, which they completed late last year. And we're looking forward to to seeing those results come out over the coming months.
So I mean, it's almost a fully fledged joint venture now. They've committed to drilling. I guess you had some parameters that they had to meet. So looks like it's all good to go in that project.
Well, look, the exciting part for us was that obviously there's these walk-up drill targets, which we had before. We had these airborne EM anomalies, but we drilled based on the airborne, but the ground EM gives you much more specific and better targeting data. So we got some. What's interesting is that three of our holes were very close to the bedrock conductors, and they're going to follow that up. So which means we're pretty close, which you'd expect. But that's the sort of short-term part of the targets. But we've got a very good land package there. Our Thor anomaly, which Chalice will call the Julimar lookalike, and when you look at the mag and you see very, very, very similar sort of shaped magnetic anomalies, and we've got chrome-rich rocks, which are a great host for these copper, nickel, PGE targets like at Julimar, but the thing about it is that the bottom 6.5 kilometres is we can only do airborne EM anomaly on that because there's power lines, there's a telephone transmitter tower there, and sort of the top 13, 14 kilometres is virtually untested in terms of EM, and that's why the commitment to do a very large scale auger program by Chalice, to develop new targets is pretty exciting. And we know that we've got some. One of our tenements has got two talc prospects, which talc comes from ultramafics, so there's wetted ultramafics, but because it's wetted, the mag signature's been masked by the weathering and that alteration. So we know there's ultramafics in the area, but some of it's going to be easier to find than other bits, and obviously we need that sort of high chrome, magnesium rocks to provide the great host you need for these sort of copper, nickel, PGE type targets. So we're looking at the longer term targets to be developed, as well as the early shots, which is what the joint ventures are designed around. Have a crack at these targets, which is what Chalice are doing. But there's a much longer term commitment. So certainly we expect them to go through the 51% milestone and hopefully towards 70, and then eventually be free carried up to that point, and we can make a decision if they found something significant, then we can make a decision to hold our 30% equity position, which is a pretty exciting opportunity. But obviously we're riding on, I suppose, on their IP, on the back of their IP, and hopefully they're going to use that to find another discovery down at Thor.
I mean, when we did that video where we talked about Thor prior to Chalice doing any work there, I mean, it was quite obvious that you had the geology and you had to me anyway, it was a no-brainer that Chalice would enhance that and have targets that from their work anyway. So exciting times. I think that's going to be the development for a while, I believe. Their work's going to create even more targets.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's what we look forward to. Now, look, to find two deposits that are exactly the same will be a rare thing indeed, and each one has its own nuances, if you like. But I think to have an independent group, we originally had VMS targets there, and clearly there's that side of things. But by us hitting some nickel and copper bearing sulfides, and we know there's like I said, ultramafics in the area. It's really about trying to pin that down and trying to pin the geology down. Where when you're talking about the area, it's had very little work in it, and that's I suppose is the exciting opportunity. And they'll learn that, and it's good to have I suppose Chalice spending their dollars on the ground and developing something, whilst Venture gets on with Mount Lindsay and a more advanced project.